All right, this is my review for Alien Earth episode 4. Um, I just want to say I'm still enjoying this series. There's something that I was curious about that at first in the beginning of the episode, like and I'll do like light spoilers. I mean, it's a TV show. Like, I mean, it's like I'll beat around the bush on certain things. But I mean, if you've seen this show, you'll know what I'm talking about. Um, Basically, so what I'm trying to say is that there is there is there's a particular scene where one of the synthetics, or I guess the synthetics, where they're like humans as well, I'll say the children, one of the children who was like in the AI bodies. um like I always thought this was interesting since the first episode, and the way to explain it and everything, how people are trying to reach that immortality. They're trying to basically more they're trying to monopolize immortality by, doing this, because they're trying to, show how people, like, they kind of clawing at the immortality. They don't want to, they don't want to die, and they're trying to figure out how can we, what is the next step for the human race, and that's what they think it is. And I'm watching this portion where one of the synthetics is saying like they're pregnant and different things like that. I'm like, first I was like, why are we even doing this? And then, which where the therapist is talking to her and she's getting angry. Like, I like what they did with it, because it's showing like she went through trauma, going into battle to see the aliens. She went through a traumatic experience, a horrific experience, and now she's still a child. She's still very, very young, and they're like between ages like, like 7 and 6 and 12, or whatever. So she's young. She just saw these aliens and went through this horrific event, and then now she's trying to cope with that and figure out what her brain's kind of collapsing on herself. Her thoughts. She's trying to figure out, these the synthetics, they don't sleep, so she's like trying to deal with what she saw, and she has to process it. And I think the fact that they don't really, I mean, maybe they have some type of rest when they're charging, or I don't know how, but it's like she has to process it, and if she doesn't, she's gonna she's not really a synthetic. She has the consciousness of, of a child, but they didn't really put them through school, which I think is weird. They have billions of dollars. They need to treat them like humans a little bit, like train them, because if they don't, they're gonna be psychotic. So yeah, and it can get pretty gruesome and crazy, because these kids are in these bodies where they could rip your head off, literally. Like, they could literally rip your neck off. They could do whatever they want. If they want to be evil, they can do it. And if what they did is correct in the first episode, if they actually were able to transition the consciousness to a machine, and this is how they want people to live now, if they do that, then the corporation have to treat it still as a person. You can't have someone come in, because they said the consciousness is easier to get to the machine from a child, because the mind can still be molded. It's easier to be molded than an adult. I understand that. But the thing is, if you do that, you have to realize, just because you transition the consciousness and you transfer the consciousness, they're not an adult now, because they're an adult body. These kids have to go to school. They have to learn morals. They have to, they have to have father figures, mother figures. They have to be, I feel like this is such a billion-dollar company. They did the work. And I understand, like, one of the kids was talking about, oh, they could just read a book and download it into their brain, and they know everything about the book. I get that. But that's different. Acquiring knowledge is very different than acquiring life experience. You can read a book and say, okay, it'll help you make certain decisions, but morals and how you really look at the world, that comes with life experience. So I guess if they make maybe a certain maybe if they put the books in a certain way to go into their brain, or to go into their synthetics, and to go into their bodies, where they could kind of maneuver into morals. I'm not sure how they would do that, but the thing is, they're still kids. Regardless, they're still kids, no matter how smart you make them. So if they have no experience, they have no experience. You know, they could read the books, they could download the knowledge, learn how to fight, learn how to shoot, but at the end of the day, if they get angry and they just snap someone's neck, they're gonna become some psychotic. So that part of the show, at first I wasn't sure how I was feeling about it, but then the more I thought about it, a lot of questions was like tapping on my brain. I was like, I am interested in it still, as well as the alien part of the show, but I want the corporation to be more accountable for that. It's like, what do you think is gonna happen? These are still kids. They should show them like in school or something. They keep showing them like off on their own doing little things, but like they need to have like a structure. Like, okay, they need to be in school. Like they need to like literally show them like having that structure. Otherwise, they're not gonna be raised. They're just gonna be like they're pretty much gonna be like pretty much like the Lost Boys, honestly. Like they're saying it's like Neverland almost with the Peter Pan elements. So pretty much like the Lost Boys, but then these are Lost Boys who are genetically modified, who can literally rip your arms off and then be in the society. So it's kind of, they got to figure that part out. So I'm still definitely interested in it, but that's one part where I was kind of felt like I wasn't sure about it, but then it kind of brought me back in when I saw what they was actually doing. So we'll see where all these questions land and see how the series actually goes. But I am still intrigued. And then I do hope in the next episode we do get a lot more alien, because I'm not like particularly like feeling like mad at the show or anything. Like, hey, just show me the alien, show me the alien. We already got so much of it already. I'm not really mad at it. The show works on so much more levels and just like an amazing sci-fi show. So they have me. I'm very intrigued still, but I do want to see what's going forward with the aliens, and how the main character connection to them, and you know how they're gonna elevate that, see if that's actually gonna go somewhere. And one of the last things I want to say that I did really like is there's a character who's looking like he's going to betray the group, and if you know what I'm talking about, or that character has already been found out. He's already been found out, is what it looks like. And that's why I love Timothy Oliphant's character, because he's smart and it's not beating around the bush. I was like, hopefully they don't string this along for like 3 episodes and then he does something stupid and then he gets away with it and stuff like that. It's showing, okay, this is a $1 billion company once again. I need to see like, they're a $1 billion company. They should not be outsmarted this quickly. They should not be able to have people tampering with their stuff. Like they should be on the ball, you know what I mean? So hopefully they're smart about how things progress, or if something does happen to get away, they're smart about whether being calculated, maybe letting something happen so they could get the other person, you know what I mean? So I do like that the writing is smart in that way. But yeah, I'm still interested. I'm still enjoying the show, and I want to see how it ties up. 'Cause I do have a lot of questions, but I have more questions than answers, which I think is good. I kind of feel like how the billionaire feels like the reason he's obsessed with these aliens, because he doesn't know. The not knowing is making him very curious. That's why he's dropping all his other projects with these synthetics. He's like seeing these aliens and new creatures, and his mind is racing. It's like the unknown is why we love certain things. So definitely enjoy it. Check it out. Stage Your Notre Dame. Spread love and light. And you know, if you like sci-fi and thing, let's keep enjoying the episode. Peace out. And how we gonna sign off?